Hello and welcome to this installment of Geek Ireland News, where David's going to be bringing you some more Warhammer updates, Joe has the next episode of the history of comic books, and I'm going to be bringing you all of the latest geek-related news.
Warhammer news from the comfort of my own home with my Britney Spears cast-off microphone headset. Right now, everybody's talking about Death Watch, which is the sort of amalgamation team of alien fighting space marines, taking sort of members of different chapters from all over the universe and that are the most skillful at fighting aliens and bringing them together. This is the Codex, which is very nice. This is the rules for Death Mask, which is the latest sort of starter kit, which gives you a load of Eldar and Death Watch guys and the rulebook. The models are beautiful. There's a brand new plastic Eldrad model for Eldar collectors, which is really, really nice. And the Space Marine models are just really great looking. They're sort of repackaged older models with pauldron shoulder pads with the chapter insignias on it. It's really, really good. So, I mean, Death Watch has been out for a while. The Death Mask box set is sort of relatively recent. But what everybody's really, really, really talking about is the update to Chaos Space Marines, which we got news about the weekend. We'd already seen brief glimpses of the brand new kind of Betrayer model, which looks stunning. Kind of preempted talk about maybe Chaos getting an updated codex or getting an updated game. Well, that is actually true. We do know that for certain, that the 13th Black Crusade, the 13th in a long line of unsuccessful crusades by Abandon the Spoiler, is happening. And we're going to get updates to Chaos. We're not entirely sure what format that will take. They're definitely getting new spells. They're definitely getting new plastic models. Everybody's just really, really excited. I'm excited as a Blood Angels player because Blood Angels seem to be involved in it somehow. Maybe they're going to get wiped out, but at least they're doing something. But all that information is online. We'll probably find out a little bit more next week when the first monthly edition of White Dwarf in a long, long time comes out. We'll probably get more information about it then. We'll probably see more details sort of towards the end of October. Really hope that it's going to give Chaos a bit of a bump, because as they're one of the biggest armies, sort of biggest war armies in the game, but their codex and their rules are very, very old. So that's a very exciting thing for Warhammer 40k enthusiasts. We'll bring you more news of that when we know more. But right now, you can find all the stuff online about Karn and just marvel at how beautiful the model is. And that's all for me.
Hey folks, welcome back. This is Joe again from Hidden Treasure Comics. I told you last time that we were going to look at the history of comic books and the current state of comic book collecting. But first, let's go back over a bit more of those things that had happened in the past. Now, we said in the last episode that Action Comics #1 was the very first appearance of Superman. It was released in 1938. And this is, for all of us comic collectors, the real birth of the medium that we know and love today. But that's not to say that they were the first comics ever. In fact, there's been sequential artwork and comic illustrations that date back thousands of years. We talked about that before, about cave drawings and other types of artwork or sequential artwork. But if we want to look at actual cartoon images that were written and made for publication, then we can really go back to the 1600s, 1700s. We can see plenty of comic work being produced and printed as political satire in newspapers and other such printed material as early as the printing press itself was invented. Thank you, Johannes Gutenberg. What we refer to as this era is the Platinum Age. Now, every era of comics has its own respective age. From 1938 on to the 1950s, we refer to this as the Golden Age of comics. Then from the 1960s, we look at the Silver Age. Somewhere in the middle of the 70s through the 80s, we have the Bronze Age. And then from 1990 on, we have the Modern Age, which can then arguably be divided up to the Old Modern Age, the New Modern Age, and arguably even the Digital Age that we find ourselves now occupying. But going right back again, we're going to look at political satire and earlier comics. All of this again is referred to as the Platinum Age of comics. Now, if you can get your hands on any of these comics, definitely try. They're definitely worth a good bit of money, and lovely from the idea of investment material. Not only that, we can also see how this media form is being used to communicate ideas and make sense to a wider public. Of course, even though newspapers were being printed and widely distributed, it didn't necessarily mean that everybody was literate. Once we have an image that can communicate a meaning, we realize that this can communicate ideas to anyone who mightn't necessarily be literate. So we can now open up our media communication to everyone who's capable of seeing these images. So again, this is known as the platinum era of comics, where we do have either political cartoons being published in newspapers or some even larger anthologies of collected artwork or sequential artwork that is designed for storytelling. But the real collectible market we're going to see starts in 1938 with the golden age of comic books and of course Action Comics #1. We're going to talk more about that next time. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you.
After this year's Star Wars celebration, fans are getting really excited for the upcoming slate. Alden Ehrenreich of Hail Caesar fame has officially been confirmed in the role of Han Solo in the origin story. The storyline itself is still up in the air, but some fans have speculated that Solo's acquisition of the Millennium Falcon will be a main part of the storyline. This, of course, would suggest the inclusion of Lando Calrissian, and many sites are reporting that Donald Glover is the first choice for the role. Glover has been in demand since leaving Community, and as stated in our previous episode, he is set to appear in Spider-Man Homecoming in an unnamed role. Whether the rumours are true or not, fans seem to support him for the role of Lando. San Diego Comic-Con has brought fans some reassurance that things might be looking up for some of DC's upcoming cinematic outings. While Suicide Squad doesn't seem to have lived up to expectations, hopes are sky high for Wonder Woman and Justice League thanks to the 2 trailers released at the convention. Not much news was released from Marvel's panels, but recently we've discovered what Thor was up to during Civil War. Have a look.
Daryl here is helping me craft an electronic letter I'm writing to Captain America and Iron Man. There seems to be something very intense going on between them, and I want to offer my help, my services.
And now on to the wizarding world of Harry Potter, which is as popular as ever with opening night of the long-awaited play, The Cursed Child. The accompanying book/script has already broken records, including the fastest-selling book of the decade, beating 50 Shades of Grey, which is probably a good thing. While some fans have been turned off by the script format and the fact it's not penned by JK herself, most are thrilled with the new edition and are snapping up the remaining tickets to see the show. We have some sad news for you now, as it was announced the beloved actor Gene Wilder has passed away aged 83. He was known for his roles in Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles, and of course as the title character in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. May he rest in peace. And that's all from us for this episode of Geek Ireland News. Be sure to have liked the Geek Ireland and Hidden Treasure Comics pages on Facebook to stay up to date on all geek-related news. But for now, thanks for watching.